guys, what's going on? So today I'm pretty pumped because I haven't done a book talk or review on a book that I've read on my own for, I don't even remember the last one I did. Maybe Cinder or Cress, like in the summer or something. It's been a while. So I'm definitely excited to share my thoughts on this book with you today. And I'm especially excited because I've heard nothing but good things about both the author and the book itself. And without further ado, let's just jump right into my book talk for Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell. This book is about two high schoolers. It's set in the 80s and it's a classic young adult high school romance novel. So these two outcasts named Park and Eleanor, they meet on the bus one day, and at first they're completely not interested in each other, but through sitting beside each other on the bus every single day, they eventually find out that they are absolutely star-crossed in love, head over heels for each other. If you haven't read this book, you probably don't want to be watching this review because it's just going to be full of spoilers. I definitely want to share my real thoughts about the book, and so in order to do that, I definitely think that I'm going to be revealing certain things. So maybe go read the book and then come join us later. So yeah, see you later. I've heard a lot of good things about this book, and of course I've heard a lot of good things about the author Rainbow Rowell. So I've been wanting to dive into a book of hers for a long time. This is the first book I've read by her, and to be honest, I wasn't overall super thrilled with it. I think my overall judgment is that I would like to try one of her adult romance novels and see how it goes, because first and foremost, I think my issue with this book was that it just felt a little too high school crush cheesy for me. You have the typical like making each other mixtapes kind of thing. In terms of writing, for me, one of my biggest problems with the book was it just felt a little too forced when it came to the cutesy romance quotes. We all know that love is just such a complex emotion. It's so hard to describe, and some authors just really have a gift for putting those feelings on paper in a way that just like blows your mind. But with this book, it felt like Rowell was, for me, it felt like Rowell was trying to do that, to be unique with her delivery and her expression of these emotions, but for me it just wasn't quite hitting the bar. The expression of these emotions and thoughts just sort of came out flat sometimes, or just like straight up bizarre. Like there was one point in the book where Park was describing Eleanor and the way she looked as he compared her to a perfectly swirled Dairy Queen ice cream cone, and I was just like, what? I just felt like the execution of the writing just lacked a little bit of elegance and a little bit of grace, and it just sort of came across a little clumsy for me. There wasn't really a whole lot about this book that surprised me, even when it came to like the big twist, when it was revealed that Richie was the one writing on the covers of her school textbooks, all those nasty things. I wasn't even surprised. I think it's like as soon as the book even like hinted at doubt that Tina wasn't the one doing it, I was like, for sure it's Richie, definitely. So I guessed the twist like way prematurely. One other major thing that I wasn't super loving about this book was the formatting. Every chapter you would sort of switch perspectives between Park and Eleanor. You had these moments where it switched perspectives numerous times in one page. I've seen this before in lots of other books. It's nothing super new. However, for this book, it just didn't work for me. It was sort of going back and forth between like saying the same thing in two different ways. So I felt like she was trying to portray the fact that they were really experiencing the same thing. They were really feeling the same things for each other. But for me, it just came across as kind of redundant and annoying. And I just wasn't a fan of the way that was executed in certain moments. However, I know I just like went on a rant about things I did not like about the book. Maybe I should have started with things that I did like about the book, because there definitely were things that I liked about the book. There were some redeeming qualities, which is why I got through the book and it wasn't a super hard read for me. I really enjoyed the character development and the background story. Like, I thought the fact that Park and Eleanor came from two completely separate types of families to the extreme. Like, Park came from a family that was like protective and like had high standards for him and high expectations on him, and Eleanor came from a home that was like abusive and poor and just somewhere she didn't want to be. And so they sort of had to learn how to cope with each other's family life and with each other's background. And I really liked that aspect of the story. Definitely, hands down, the first thing I look for in a book when I'm reading is character development and how the author is revealing the background story of the characters, and I really enjoyed the execution in this book. And I did feel like I connected with the characters in some ways. There were a lot of ways that I didn't connect with them, but there were a lot of ways that I did. And so when it comes to Eleanor's circumstances with the bullying and the abuse, the author, Rainbow Rowell, did a really good job with just developing that empathy and that compassion in the reader. Even though it had its cheesy moments and it overall was kind of typical, it still kept me interested, and I still wanted to see what happened to these characters. So I definitely was invested in them enough to want to find out the outcome. Overall, in the end, I give Eleanor and Park by Rainbow Rowell a 3 out of 5 stars. I know it might have come across through my rant like I didn't like the book, but overall, I'm glad that I read it. It's not a regretful read at all. If you guys have read this book, throw me down a comment below, give me a shout out on Twitter, just let me know what you think about it. I'm interested to hear your thoughts because I've heard so many good things about this book, but I didn't love it. So if you have thoughts that you want to share, just give me a shout out. I'll put all my information below for you. Let's just chat about this book. And if you have any other Rainbow Rowell books that you'd like to recommend to me, that you think were better reads than this one, if you didn't like this one, let me know, because I'm definitely going to be looking for my next Rainbow Rowell book to read, to give her another chance for sure. I hope you guys are having a solid day. We will see you next time. Thanks for watching. Bye.